Well, hello. I am Matt Williamson. How's everyone doing? Follow me on YouTube where you can find this, Twitter, X, whatever. All of them are at Williamson NFL. So, just to pull back the curtain, my schedule. I'm recording this on a Friday. I'm probably going to record another over the weekend because I'll be driving to Indy all day Monday. So I won't record anything Monday. And then I'll record several from my hotel room in Indy at the Combine. You know, what I'm hearing, people that are standing out, whatever comes up, as we always do. But today I got a couple news and notes, some quarterback stuff. But I wanted to start with the Steelers coaching staff. It is now entirely finished. They've put the finishing touches on it. We know who the staff is. It seems like it's a little bit of an underreported news story. And I don't have a ton to add to it. I mean, I always talk about assistant coaches that it's maybe the hardest thing for me to comment on. And having been a part of teams and been in buildings, I do realize their vast importance, but I realize that if I'm not in that building, I can't really comment on it. That being said, that I do think I'm excited, and I think that keeping Mike Sullivan, that was the final touches. He has been deemed the senior offensive assistant. Tom Arth is the new quarterback coach. Zach Azani is the new wide receivers coach. We know Arthur Smith's the new offensive coordinator. And they also did retain Eddie Faulkner, the running back coach. I mean, Faulkner and Sullivan took over for Canada last year. And I think that's important, is that I was worried that they might lose Sullivan. We've known Faulkner's going to be back for a little while, but I do think that familiarity with the past as the acting coordinator, I've heard a lot of good things about Sullivan. Nothing against Faulkner, but I just was going to focus this on Sullivan because that's the last shoe to drop, the last piece of the coaching staff. Frankly, when they decided a year ago to keep Canada in the offseason, I was very critical of them that they didn't have a senior offensive assistant type guy. Now, this is a much different situation because Arthur Smith is not a returning, embattled, beat up, disgruntled, not so great coordinator. He's a new guy, and I think he's very, very well qualified for the job. But I thought they should have had this offensive senior assistant type guy in place last year. And I guess maybe Sullivan was, and just not by title, because he did get the job, but he was a quarterback coach. I get the impression that he has a very good relationship with Kenny Pickett, and he's very well respected in the building. He's been around the block. So I just wanted to mention that, this offense coaching staff, Smith in particular, is going to get a lot of attention. But I think retaining the fill-in coordinators from a year ago has a lot of value. So BetOnline is your number one source for odds, stats, trends, and lines, with everything from point spreads to hundreds of performance props, with dozens of odds, props, and info on hundreds of sports, events, politics, and entertainment. You can access the world's best wagering information anytime from your desktop or mobile devices. Super easy. Head to BetOnline today and stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. Once free agency opens, Kenny Pickett will be the only Steeler quarterback on the roster, that's under contract. I'm giving this thought, and I don't have any insight, and I do think I'll learn stuff at the Combine. But I'm getting the impression more and more that Justin Fields is likely to end up in Atlanta. And that doesn't break my heart. There is immense talent there. He's supposedly a great worker. A tough guy, an unbelievable athlete. I love the way he throws the ball. But there's some things that haven't gotten better either. Example, I'm not the biggest QBR guy out there, but you would have thought, the excuses were out of the way last year. His QBR went down from 2 years ago to last year. It went backwards. As a starter, he has 10 career wins. I mean, he's been in the league 3 years, and the Bears were bad. Situation's bad. But Kenny wins. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Kenny's better than Fields, but say what you want about Kenny Pickett. His teams end up getting W's. Fields don't. I mean, I know he's missed some time, but he's had 10 career wins. His pocket presence and holding the football and just general mistakes are a little too much for me, because a lot of turnovers, both fumbles and interceptions, and a crazy number of sacks. But hey, would I entertain bringing him here? Absolutely. There's no question. But I do think, and this is just kind of reading the tea leaves, I think Atlanta is going to be his ultimate landing spot. The Falcons also have earlier picks, to give in each round. Their second's worth more than the Steelers' second. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, Arthur Smith was in Atlanta, and they gave him Mariota and Ritter. I mean, like nobody. And now, as soon as he's gone, they're going to go out and pursue a quarterback. I mean, whether it's Fields or not, I'm sure he's looking around or thinking of the Falcons' ownership. Like, couldn't we have done that a couple of years there? Anyway, so I wanted to throw this out there, and I have very mixed feelings about it. Mostly I lean towards no, but I do think it's information you guys need to know about Russell Wilson. So he's been linked to the Steelers, Tannehill, Wilson, Rudolph, Fields. Personally, I'm a Brissett guy, but he doesn't seem to be in the mix, but it wouldn't shock me if he was, because I think he's quite good. Anyway, Russell Wilson, to me, whenever I heard those things, up until yesterday, I just kind of went, no. Big ego, declining player. Would he actually come in here and compete with Pickett? Or would he just assume that, we're going to roll the red carpet out for him in this town and he's going to take us to glory? Or did his Denver experience greatly humble him? I don't know, but it sure sounded like year one in Denver without Peyton. Sean Payton was a disaster, and he had his own entourage and expected everyone to just bow to him. Now, that wouldn't happen here because it didn't happen with Sean Payton. It wouldn't happen with Mike Tomlin. But the only reason I go back to at least give you guys this information is Wilson right now is still employed by the Broncos. They will cut him. But his contract that he signed there after a terrible trade is fully guaranteed. He's getting that money from Denver, no matter what. So, and that's over the next 2 years. That's the 2024 and 2025 season. So his next team, which frankly I think will be like the Raiders or somebody like that. I don't think it'll be the Steelers. But they can sign him for league minimum, and he'll still make the same amount of money the next 2 years. That's intriguing to me, just financially. If I can sign Russell Wilson to a little over $1 million a year, and he still is going to be as wealthy and get the same income because he's getting his money from Denver, that makes things a little different for me. Your quarterback room would be so cheap, and you can go use that money elsewhere. If you're going to, frankly, I think Tannehill's going to be here. I'm not discounting Rudolph. I'm a Brissett guy, and he's probably going to make $6 million, $8 million. I don't know. Trubisky made 8-ish, something like that. But if Wilson's ego was checked at the door, and he did get better as his season went along last year, and you can get him for league minimum, I think you at least have to have that discussion. And how does Tomlin and Wilson get along? I'm sure they have bumped into each other over the years. I'm not saying I'd do it, but I just wanted to give you that information. I think that's wherever he signs is going to be for like no money. So that makes him more appeal. That could break some ties or whatever. But if the personality fit's not there, if he's not the big brother to Pickett, if he's not the sounding board that Tannehill would be, or especially with the new system that Tannehill would know and Wilson wouldn't, then then it's off the table. But the fact that he would be league minimum to me is pretty intriguing. I assume he'll be getting cut any day now, with the June 1 designation and all that stuff is coming up too. So I just want to throw that out there. I don't think Fields will be a Steeler. I don't think Wilson will be a Steeler, but those are some more thoughts about those two guys. And you do get the feeling that the Bears are going to do something soon. Everyone keeps talking about Combine's going to probably trigger the Fields move. I do think the Bears are going to stick and pick Caleb Williams. If anything, they would move down to 2 or 3 or something like that. But, that's neither here nor there. I do think Fields will move, just not here, most likely. So, all right. Talk soon. Over and out.